a lot of women in their different ways of helping in the Black Power movement. However, our final videos right now, the movement within the movement with one of Tracy's favorite people.
Black women weren't only involved in political organizations tied to the Black Power movement, but also artistic and cultural ones. In these spaces, Black women writers and artists used Black Power ideologies to help express themselves. Through music, literature, and theater, Black women told stories of their lived experiences and outlined how they shaped their political philosophies. Much of this was done through the Black Arts Movement. The Black Arts Movement lasted from 1965 till about 1975. It was founded by the writer Leroy Jones, who was later known as Amiri Baraka. He also founded the Black Arts Repertory Theater and School. Many of the women who produced art during this period were known as cultural naturalists. Cultural naturalists used culture through poetry, novels, visual art, and theater to affirm community, promote Black consciousness, and to achieve liberation. If you read any poetry during your high school literature courses, you may have heard some of these poets. For example, Maya Angelou's work grew out of the Black Arts Movement. Her most famous work, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, is an autobiography of her childhood which addresses themes of Black girlhood, femininity, racism, and trauma. There was also the play entitled For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough by Ntozake Shange, who was influenced by the Black Arts Movement as well. Poet and writer Sonia Sanchez was another major contributor to the movement. Two of her most important collections of poetry were Homecoming and We Are Bad People. Her work focused on the highs and lows of the lives of everyday Black women. Audre Lorde was another important contributor to this movement. She wrote many books during this period, including The First Cities, Cable to Rage, and From a Land Where Other People Live. Her books addressed many topics: her Blackness, her identity as a woman, her identity as a lesbian, and motherhood. Nikki Giovanni is one of the most famous poets to come out of this period. Dubbed the poet of the Black Revolution, some of the most important works she contributed to the movement were the poetry collections Black Feeling, Black Talk, Black Judgment, and Recreation.
I don't know where Anna went, but I hope she comes back.
All my favorites.
So I'll let you.
You got all my favorites right in there. Thank you.
I'll let you speak on Maya Angelou because I knew you was just.
The cream of the crop? Are you serious? And I still rise. I know I'm paraphrasing the poem. Look, I'm not gonna go into the and yet I rise because y'all know that do something to me right here. But you can
So
squash us, but we getting right back up.
hello. So during that period, it just looks like it's being hit. The Black Power movement is hitting all the causes by different angles. We could do political, we could do the arts, we could do marches, we could do organizations. They was leaving no stone unturned. We're hitting, and we want our causes to be heard by whatever your avenue of hearing it by. And we're still doing it today, do music. I think the next revolution of music was hip hop and art, hip hop and rap. Because that was the only way for some people to understand the things that we as a Black community was still going through. They also understood that nobody's going to sit around and read the newspaper to get that information. But you will buy an album to hear it. And it has to have a good beat. So you will listen.
Wow, Mark. That's a good beat.
I said what I said. A good beat and it has to rhyme.
No, it doesn't.
Back then it did.
Yeah, because I'm like,
You ain't
no.
got to. You ain't got to do nothing now, but
Oh no, you talking about that mumble rap?
yeah,
Well, nah.
nah, that ain't. I don't even know what that is. In 1966, MLK said through the phrase "Black Power" that he's worried it carried connotations of violence and separatism. I think he, in more ways, was trying to protect his self-image.
Makes sense to me.
I don't actually think about some of these poets being black. I just read their poetry because it was real and true. You have to, yeah, you have to reach deep down inside of you and find a way to pull out. Well, not really. Sorry. Let me rephrase that. I'm about to say deep down and pull out the agony that you feel every day, but you ain't got to dig deep down. You just kind of have to wake up. You're going to feel it. But it does take a talent to be able to put it into poetry, to put it into music, to put it into books, to put it into song. A talent that I don't have anymore. Used to have when I was younger. Now I just think I done got to the point where I just say F you all and the end. I really don't feel like doing poetry anymore. So there you have it. The Black Power movement and the women's efforts and effects on the Black Power movement by different angles. So before we even go, I'm about to say before we go into the second hour, before we go into the second half hour, I'll leave the rest up to Tracy and Anna for their final thoughts.
I must be on Euphoria because this is about the best one that you've done so far out of all of them. This one gives me the most hope, the most cause to say, you know what? There is a better way. Not that the other ones weren't good, but this one, you hit a home run with this one.
Thank you. I wonder what was so different.
I guess because you were talking about black women and look at the person on the camera talking.
There we go.
It's like a reflection.
Proud separatism. Thank you, Dr. King, for your bravery and courage. Just not my flavor of resistance. And that was the point that we was making earlier. MLK, Malcolm X, it was still leading to the same goal. We just take different paths to get there. That's all it was. Anna, final words?
I have a name of a really wonderful author, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She writes about feminism. You can look up Chimamanda on YouTube. There are speeches where she has gone and talked to, I believe it was a German museum that had African artifacts, and was just telling them to their faces, this is wrong.
Yes.
She speaks truth to power, and she does it beautifully. She is a poet, she is an author, and she is an incredible wordsmith.
We've had that problem for a very long time, Anna, that the white community has this thing about getting XYZ artifacts and using history as declarations, as designs. Like they don't understand what's the big deal about it if they paid a fair price for it. One,
Well, they didn't pay for it. They pretty much
You,
stole it. They
yeah,
just stole it.
you
They
didn't
didn't
pay
pay
for
nothing for
jack
it.
squat.
Yeah, paid. What's that?
We're still trying to get artifacts that were stolen by the Nazis during World War II. Trust me, you didn't. And if you pay for it, let me give you a hint. You paid for stolen goods then.
Again, pay for what?
Oh no, if they paid for it, I can go to a thief and buy what the thief stole. But apparently, because you figured that you paid for stolen goods, then you are the rightful owner now. No, you paid for stolen goods. You paying for a 18th century whatever that was stolen is no different than if this was the 1980s and I paid for a stolen stereo.
Yeah, you
Knowing
bought
it was
it, but
stolen. But you
and,
feel good about yourself because
yeah.
you paid for it.
And can we talk about how important Angela Davis is? Oh my goodness, I could go. I
When
don't even
that
want to.
woman, when that woman talks, good gracious. There are times when you
It's
don't
like
even want
goosebumps come on my arm. I'm like, wait a minute. That kind of reaction I don't have to a lot of people. She's definitely one of them.
see what we got in here. I have to admit that I knew a very few black women who were active in that movement. Yeah, by design or by lost history or whatever, they was a substantial part of it. Black women who've been leading every aspect of the movement since the time of slavery. I love hearing their names. Yeah, Angela Davis is one of my favorites, though.
Yeah, she's like my absolute. Absolutely, I want to be her so bad. But I can only be me. But if I could be somebody else,
There could be a show just on the history of the major musicians from that time that also played a role in the movement. Yeah,
yeah, I think I suggested that yesterday.
yeah, but did you do it on hip hop?
No, I said Motown.
Motown, like Aretha Franklin and Nina Simone. Yeah, yeah. And I give you. I'll do my
Beyonce.
best, but this gonna take me a minute to put Motown because sorry, you got Motown. I get it. I grew up on rap and hip hop. And I grew up on some of the not so nice way of saying stop messing with us.
But that was important too. But
But
Motown is the fundamental foundation.
I get it. But I grew up on KRS-One.
So did I.
I grew up on some poets that was just telling
Curtis
you.
Flash, Run DMC, before they went to the edge.
I don't know about Run
They
DMC.
earlier stuff was good, but then they got mainstream. I'm like,
When it comes to the Black Power movement?
No, I mean just their later works weren't as mainstream as like when they first started.
I was like, I'll do NWA before I do Run DMC.
Oh no, I don't do NWA.
If we're putting it in the category of black movements, as
who was the one that put out "I'm a Cop Killer" or "Killer Police"? Oh, that was Ice-T.
That was Ice-T.
Yeah. And Sue surprisingly is on a show about cops.
Right? Boy, they'll forgive when they can make money off of you. Oh God, musicians are members of our culture clarity. Then and now, there's always been a soundtrack to the struggle. It holds meaning, messages, and instructions.
True, but it's not a whole lot of them now. There's not.
I'm
just like,
not.
Man, what happened to the Harry Belafontes and the Sammy Davis Juniors and I'm trying to think of a whole bunch more of them that I can think of that were like in music, but they were in the movement.
Yeah. So I'll see how I can
But you
either
can't not
Ace.
just get Motown. That would be just that.
I
I
don't
would
know.
clown you for a long time for that.
I'm gonna try to find my way to do Motown and hip
Just
hop,
it
or
was
Motown
started.
and
Just like
or
why Barry Gordy started it, how he started, how he got the talent together.
I used to remember who killed us in the street. Yeah.
I just don't like
Ooh.
NWA.
Also Billie
Billie
Holiday.
Holiday.